Welcome back, everybody. It's Rama from Junk Journal Divas. Hello, my friends. Today I'm going to be making these adorable little mini journals. These are made from a kit that's from Amour Fabriques. And we are also going to make these little gift bags that we will put the journals in. And we're going to start off by making the bags. Okay, so the first thing that I want to work on is making the little bags that the journals go in. So the kit comes with these bags, and this is the sari pieces that each one comes with. So I've got those here, my bags, and then I got these images. Aren't these adorable? These are Art House Whimsy. I will put all the links for everything in my video description as always. And I went over these with some frosted crystal. And this stuff you use just like embossing glaze. So you put the ink, you do the embossing ink, put the powder on, and then you heat set it. And it actually heat sets really fast. You only want to heat set this one until you just start to see it melt. And that gives it that kind of crystallized look, which I know is kind of hard to see in the camera. Our bags, and then I've got this little girl. And I've got this one with the snowman. Of course I went around the edges and inked them all up. This one, I guess I only need 2 more. Maybe I will just stick with the little kids and this one lady. Do like maybe 2 at a time. Let me see, I'll do these 2 because they're darker backgrounds. And then like these are the light backgrounds. I just got a bunch of stuff in Happy Mail. I had this large piece of fabric, so I just tore it. I ripped it into pieces. So let me see here. Okay, and then I like these torn edges, so let's see. If there are any edges that are a little too clean for my liking, you can just sort of pick at it, and usually you can get it to fray. If not, I just take my scissors and kind of just poke in, and that just kind of starts it. All right, so I'm going to lay out some fabric pieces. And then after I know how I want everything to be, I am going to have to pick up the collage area here, and I'm going to open up my bag, and then I can sew this onto the bag. And I am going to play some music and probably speed through some of this because, you know, I'm going to be playing around and just auditioning little certain pieces and things. All right, guys, so let's get started here and just play around a little bit, see what we come up with. Okay, so I just wanted to show you one of the packages. So all of this, and it's 12 bucks. And everything is here for you. Okay, so there's this envelope with some little goodies in here. You've got the cover. Now all my covers are different, and I love this inside part. So this measures, if you just go the page without the spine here, it's like 6 by 6.5. So that's what I'm making my pages to fit in here. So we've got that. And then this piece to wrap around your spine. So it's fabric, but it's stiff fabric. So I don't know, maybe she sprayed it or something. Okay, we've got tons of papers. There's recipes, spun paper. There's a whole bunch of like little cards to alter, receipts, and Rolodex. So a bunch of this stuff. Large book pages. And they're all different, but they're all, you know, Christmas stuff. Music pages, book pages, more receipts, just all kinds of papers. So what I'm going to do now is go through all of the papers and fold them to size. Now there's also in this little package, there's a needle, some embroidery thread, some corner pieces, and she even has one of these little guys that you can put in the spine to hang a dangle off of, or a tassel. So literally everything you need, all this stuff, and it's 12 bucks, you guys. So all we have to do is just put them together and add our little spin on things. So first thing first, I'm going to organize all these papers. Now, a lot of these papers are large enough that I could get 2 out of them. I could tear it in half so I have the top and the bottom. But some of them, like the one I'm doing right now, I can glue the top and bottom together and then make a little punch. I can turn it into a pocket. So that is what I do with just a couple of them. The really nice thick book pages, I did that because I thought they'd be nice and sturdy. You can also just fold the bottom up a little bit, like this one, and that will create a pocket. So lots of different ways to use the papers. I also saved those edge pieces that I cut off of some, and you'll see what I do with those coming up. Okay guys, so moving on to the next step in creating my books. What I did, since I'm kind of, well, I'm saying mass making these, but you know, I'm making 6 of them. I did all my papers, folded them to size using my template that I did here. So each book is going to have 2 signatures. And what I did was I put my papers together and I sewed down the middle of them. This makes it really, really easy for binding them. So now all I have to do is poke my holes, and I don't have to worry about the papers going all over the place. And let me just point out, how fun is this? Do you guys remember Mad Libs? Where you tell a story, you fill in like the nouns and adjectives and stuff. So fun. So I had to put that in the middle of one. The only thing that I added was some of my dyed papers. All these papers are from the kit. Oh, something else that I did was some of the little pieces of sari scraps. I took one of the larger receipts, and I just cut it into 1-inch strips and used some of that sari fabric and a little bit of lace I added in to make these little guys to embellish some of the pages. So I did these, and I also took some of the paper because I had to tear, you know, some of them to fit inside the journal. So I also made some with paper. And then, so I sewed down the middle, but this is also the border of a book page, and that looks kind of cool going down the center. There's another one, whoops, there's another one. I put something fun down the center. You can see I'm just tearing little bits and putting here and there to make little clusters. Here, let me show you. This is an example. I put some of my paper one going down here. I added a few little things, but not very much. I want the friends that I'm giving these to, I want them to be able to kind of make it their own. So I thought I would add a little envelope with some goodies in, and some of the pockets and things that I have in here. Like here's a large pocket with a book page. I want to put like some fun papers and various things in here, not just tags and things. Here's some of the sari fabric and book page. These are some things that I had left over. This is House Whimsy. So you get the idea. There's a receipt page. I've got a little reindeer thing here. So these are just examples. Okay, so next up, I am going to take my two signatures, find the center of one here. And you guys, I actually did get a book binding kit, but I'm still using my giant push pin. Isn't that funny? I'm so used to using it, and it's right here on my desk. Well, I have a couple of them. I think I have a green one too somewhere. All right, but I'm gonna use my template, kind of line these up and poke my holes. So there is one. I thought this paper was cute too. Just a note with the Christmas tree. Okay, let's get our holes in this one. So I've got those done. Next I need to poke the holes into my cover. So you can see I put on the corner edges, and they all come with this little guy to put a tassel or charm or something. And you know what? I put this on, but I need to take it off. I need to wait until I have my signatures sewn in. And this is so easy too. Just has this little part and then a screw that screws up into it. So easy. So I am just kind of lining this up here. It's an inch spine, and I'm just kind of marking where my 1/4 inch is. Okay, so we've got there. Okay, so out of the inch here, I went a 1/4 of an inch in and a 1/4 of an inch over here. So that's like the two of them that will be kind of in the middle. So then let's see, let me take my template. And I will line this up on one of my lines. Okay, and I'm going to try to hold that in place. This one I am going to just use a little clip. Okay, then I want to poke my holes. So I'm kind of holding it down here with my fist. And just a little note, it's a little bit easier if you just stick a pen or a marker or something through those holes and mark it and then poke your holes. Okay, not too bad, lined up, at least they're straight. And then let's do the other one here, kind of lining it up on the bottom edge also. Try to just open this part and then see if we can clip them. All right. Okay, so I have my holes in my book, in my cover. And you know what? I am going to, just to keep these out of the way, the closures, I'm going to go ahead and kind of fold these up and we'll paper clip it closed. Just to keep them out of the way until I'm done here. There we go, that's better. So next I want to go ahead and start binding. I'm going to put my template aside. I usually use waxed thread to do my binding, but I am going to just use the embroidery floss. They all come with embroidery floss, literally everything you need. Okay, and when I'm doing this, you guys, I just tie this in a knot because I don't want my needle to fall off. Right, now we can start binding our signatures. So which one do we want to be first? Let me see. I wanted this one to be first. Make sure our cover is the right way. I've done that before where you sew them in upside down. Okay, so wherever you start, so if I start by going through the holes on the inside, 2 pieces of the thread are going to be hanging out here. If I start from the outside going in, my 2 pieces of thread are going to come out here. So I mean, you could end up tying it in a bow, you know, and do some kind of a tie here, or you could leave them hanging down from the spine and put little dangles on the bottom. I mean, there's different options you can do. I am going to, let me get the center here. I'm going to start from here. All right, so I'm going to start in the center hole and go down and then go in my first. I want to make sure that I'm in the first row here. I've also made that mistake where I start on the front and then I go to the second signature holes. Okay, I'm going to pull that through, leaving some. And then you can go through the top or the bottom, it doesn't matter. We'll go through the top. And then, oh yeah, and you want to make sure you're using a long needle. It makes it a lot easier. All right, then I want to go find where I poke that hole here. And I'm going to come up through here. Make sure my thread is okay in the back. All right, so we go down through the center, up through an end, down to the other end, and then we're going to go back up through the center. And I've got a lot of thread here, so just want to make sure I don't get tangled. Okay, and then we're going to go back through the center. Make sure you don't go through, like poke through this thread. So I'm going to kind of pull it up, put my needle in, and then probably we'll have to kind of peek through here. Okay, so if you can see my needle coming through, and we've got our thread on this side of this middle line, I want to go ahead and make my needle come on the opposite side because I want to tie down that middle thread. All right, so see, I've got a thread going on either side of this middle line. Make sure I'm nice and tight in the back, and then I can go ahead and just tie this off. And I'm going to make these a little bit long here because I'll add a little dangle, maybe some jingle bells or something. And that's another thing, make sure you give yourself enough thread if you want to do that. Okay guys, so we've got our first signature in. So I'm going to take one of my clips and I just want to hold this down so it's out of the way. And now we're going to put in our next signature. And I still have, I think I've got enough thread here. Okay, we want to make sure our signature is going the right way. All right, so we'll go down through the center, down through the center, and then to one of the ends. And then down to the other end. Oops, see, I'm caught on the corner here. Let's fix that. Okay. And then back through the center. We look good on the back, so go ahead and tie these down. And then cut my needle off. And there we go. Okay, and then also in the kit is a piece of, I don't even know, it's fabric, but it's stiff. And so we're going to use this to go and cover up this spine. So I'm just going to kind of hold it on here. Go. Okay, so now to put this on, I'm going to do what I always do, my double-sided sticky tape. I'm going to put on here along with glue. And just to kind of help, I just kind of want to keep this closed. I want this structure to be, I want this to be nice and straight here. So I'm actually going to use a large binder clip just to hold this. It'll just make it a little bit easier. Okay. Look at that. All right, so let's put our double-sided tape here. And I'm going to go right out to those very, very edges. Okay, then I'm going to kind of put my fingers in the center here, and then I can feel where the center is here. Let's check it. Ooh, I did pretty good. All right, then I can kind of press down on that. Okay, so now we've got our sticky tape on those very edges. So I am just going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue also. Making sure I get those end pieces. So you can see there, I got my glue. Then we can go ahead and wrap this. All right, now we can go ahead and put that ring in the middle for our little dangle. And you guys, she even poked the hole for us, so that made it very easy. Hold this the way I want it. Make sure it's nice and straight. Okay, so I got some beads, and I want to put some beads on my little threads that are hanging down here. So if you're wondering how in the world do we do that, this is a collapsible needle. So if I can find the center here, see what it's like. It's like a huge eye in the middle. So I can take one of these threads just put the end through there and pull it down. So it just looks like that. Now, not all beads can fit over this. It depends on how big the hole is. And then we can just open up that needle and take our thread out. Okay, so I like that. And then I can just tie a knot at the end. I do want to make sure that my knot is big enough that the beads don't slide off. And I'm also going to just put a little dab of glue to hold it. Okay guys, I am back. I have my journals finished. I think they're adorable. I will show them to you here. So let's just do one at a time. Now, of course, I've got the bags that they are going to go down into. I might take the tassel off and attach it to, you know, where I tie. I don't know. We'll see how we're going to do that. But these are the bags. So there's one. Now this one I was just testing out. I put a little bit of glitter up here and some right down here. And then this one. These would be really cute just to put any kind of gift in. Got our snowman, little girl who's naughty. I thought this was cute because she's kind of hiding her face, like little grin. All right, so we've got our bags done. Now on all of the journals, I put something dangling here, little tassels. And I've made these, I'll post my video. This is a wooden spool. I'll post the video of when I was making these. It wasn't that long ago. I made all my little Christmas tassels, and a couple of them I just put, instead of putting, you know, the fabric for tassels, I just hung some chain there with jingle bells. So we have our fabric around the spine, and I just put some sequins or something sparkly along where that fabric was. All the corner protectors are on. Now I didn't put that much on the inside of these, but I will show you. I did put, like, this is one of my paper little jelly rolls that I did. And then the fabric one. So I did put these on a couple of pages because this is one of my favorite parts of a journal. I love all the stuff sticking out. Tie that back up. And the other thing that I did was a little clip that I tied some stuff to. Super cute, right? We've got the Santa. Oh, and then the other thing you can see here, I put buttons and I used beads on this one. So both are super cute, whatever you have on hand, lots of different options. And here's another one with the tassel and buttons. You can see my stuff hanging out there. We've got our snowy days. Buttons. This one, deck the halls. So here we go. I think these are absolutely adorable. Last year I bought some and I gave them to friends who were, well, one had surgery. Sometimes people are just busy, whatever the case may be, they just weren't able to do a lot as far as crafting. So I thought this is perfect because everything is in it, so you can just find a place to sit and, you know, put it together. It's also a really great idea for anybody who's younger, maybe, who wants to get into journaling. It's great because everything is here. Now this year I decided to actually put them together and give them as gifts. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. All of the links to all of this stuff is in my video description, and I will see you soon for some more crafty adventures.